Welcome back to another episode of Control the Chaos Mama podcast. Life and launch strategy for ADHD entrepreneurs, creative rebels, and multi-passionates. This is the podcast for you if you are a starter and not a finisher and you want to gain traction in your life and business, but something is in your way. Whether that is ADHD or overwhelm, whatever it is, today I'm hoping to help you to kind of really zone in on the strategies that could actually work for you and save a bit of cash in the way. All right, so let's get started. So today, I have probably spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on notebooks, planners, and things that I think will help me. And here's the thing, they still have their value because the fact of the matter is they did help me for a period of time when that dopamine was going and I was all excited and, just something new was happening. And even if something like that happens for you for a couple weeks, it still has value. So let's own it for what it is. And if there is something that you really want and you're excited about it, know that it's okay to invest in that product because chances are the excitement will ride you through for at least a couple weeks. And then hopefully your accountability and support can ride you through for the rest, if not habit implementation. So for today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the planners. So by now you've heard a lot about time blocking. I even have an episode on it. It's super helpful and go listen to it. I also have episodes on how to help you really gauge expectations and all the things. And here's what I'm going to tell you. The thing that has really helped me the most whenever I have been overwhelmed is the brain dump. And so I want you to think about the different types of hats that you wear. Yeah, there's a lot of them. So what I want you to do is think of a piece of paper and maybe even segment that paper out into your different hats. Maybe one of them is home. Maybe one of them is wife. Maybe one of them is mother. Maybe one of them is entrepreneur, or maybe one of them is podcaster. Maybe one of them is even something else. I don't even know. So input it here, right? So I want you to think of all your different hats, the things that you do to fill your soul, to fill your obligations, whatever it is, okay, to fill that cup, right? And then I want you to brain dump. And so the problem is when we're overwhelmed, it's hard to get started. The task initiation is just too big. We have too much swirling in our minds. And so what I want you to do is take a moment to brain dump all the things. And so you could do this on a blank sheet of paper. I actually really like taking a giant sheet of sketch paper, giant sized, and divide it into the different segments of home, work, podcast, and by work, I mean photography, and then podcast, and then sometimes I even put health on there because that's super important to me, and then maybe I'll put something to do with the kids or family. And so I'll brain dump all the things because I know as a creative rebel or entrepreneur who's doing all the things, sometimes we have trouble prioritizing our tasks. And so let's kind of just brain dump all the things. And then what you can do is better be able to see what is time sensitive and then also what is demanding your time time sensitive does demand your time, or what is also important to you. What is appealing more to your values? If your head hits the pillow at night, what are you content with only a few things happening and feeling successful? So is that connecting with your spouse? Is that connecting with your kids? Is that attuning to maybe like a workout or something where you feel your body? Is it maybe completing at least something off of a big task that you've been dreading, whatever that looks like? And so if you're someone who has bought all the planners, guys, I have bought all the planners, like all of them. And the thing is I love planners and I love stationery and I love all the things. But the thing that has helped me the most is doing this brain dump into categories, prioritizing the categories, and then gauging my productivity by logical steps. And so things that have to do with time have trouble with me, okay? And so I want you to try to break it down into micro steps, which we have an episode on that as well. And then from there, I want you to also think of what is most important. At the end of the day, what is most important? What can push the needle in your business, but what can also make you feel fulfilled as a mother, as a wife, as an entrepreneur? And the thing is there's probably one aspect that you need to keep consistency in so that you can feel like you are gaining the confidence to succeed. So that might mean a weekly podcast. That might mean showing up at the gym a certain amount of times. And whatever that is for you, I want you to kind of like book that in as if it is an appointment, as if it is a non-negotiable. And then I want you to celebrate it. I want you to shout it out from the rooftops, because here's the thing. Chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a creative rebel, or you are motivated by stepping to the identity that is someone who does the things that they say, or the promises that they make to each other or to themselves. And so I think there is magic in saying or opting into something, because you will keep that promise more likely. And so what I want you to do is brain dump, like I mentioned, prioritize, and then what I want you to do is be realistic. So maybe look at the cycle singing episode that I have on 35, and I believe the other one's 60 or so. And then I want you to think about where you are in that cycle and what can actually fuel your focus and fuel your exercise, and what things can you do to help you for where you are, okay? And then what I want you to do is to get rid of the planners. Stop buying the planners. And this comes from someone who, at one point or another, when they did the vision exercise, wanted to have like a art journal / daily journal and just all the things. And here's the thing. The most successful thing I've had is the brain dump plus prioritize plus getting it down on paper of my top 3. And I know that doesn't sound fancy. It doesn't have like a pretty stationary background. And if you want to make a pretty My Day page that has all the things listed and just time blocks all your day, that is fine too. But I want to let you know that it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually get a piece of paper and just put all these things down, and it still counts. For some reason, I like the in-between phase. You better believe that if I'm going to make a list, I'm going to write the thing I just completed so I can cross it off, and that's just how it works. And so if that sounds like you, if any of this sounds like something you've done before, maybe buying an $80 planner and then never looking at it again, or buying some new thing that someone shows you, and you're thinking of the outcome, you're thinking of having all your crap together. And the thing is then you feel like you failed when you didn't keep up with it. I'm all about habits. I'm all about habit stacking and all the things. But here's the thing. You need to find a process that is actually going to work with your brain. And so brain dumping works for my brain. Prioritizing from that brain dump works for my brain. Also using cycle syncing to kind of further prioritizing that so that I can know like what's actually going to be feasibly done, or maybe realizing that like, okay, for this phase, I need to outsource. Whatever that looks like for you, I want you to take that information and use it and feel empowered. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, the best planner that works for you is the one that gets the job done, okay? This is not the Joanna Gaines show. This is not something to make you feel like you are struggling, to make you feel like you are less than, to feel like you are not showing up. You are doing a great job. You just need to kind of gauge your expectations. You need to realize how your brain is and how it shows up, and stop buying all the things to solve your problems, because at the end of the day, the thing that is going to help you move the needle is the thing that gets done. And so let's stop making all the things pretty. Yes, I have bullet journals. I have all the things. And they did help me for a time because I was all into it. And if that's the case, then that's fine and good. Because if you are very motivated and you have that dopamine hit, you're going to have that extra motivation to actually do the thing for at least a short while. And guess what? That's good enough for me, because here's the thing too. Like, it doesn't have to serve you forever in order to have value. It still has value even if it helps you for a short time. And so I just wanted to give you this encouragement that my strategy, instead of buying all the planners right now, is to brain dump on a plain piece of paper, if not a giant sketchbook, because you have that giant piece where you can get all your big strategy ideas out in the world and then prioritize from there and then start checking them off. Better yet, if you can carry that notebook around with you, if it's not too giant, or if you can at least get a habit stack in your morning or evening routine where you can come back to it instead of making a whole new notebook and a whole new journal, then what you can do is start feeling like you have that confidence of really beating a single task instead of restarting. It'll kind of help you to feel like you are finishing something finally. And so I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you found value in it. And if you did, come find me over at Control the Chaos Mama on Instagram or info@angelmcilhenny.com. I would love to hear what you're taking from the show. And until next time, wishing you joy and abundance, Angel.